Hello, everyone, and welcome to our channel. I'm Mark,
And I'm Rob.
and today we're going to talk more about the interview in Time Magazine when Caitlin Clark won Athlete of the Year, about Angel Reese and the not making the Olympic team. So, hey, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so. Hit the notification bell when you do so you get notified of our next video. So, in the past, Angel Reese has said that they weren't good friends, but she also said that they're competitors and that they didn't hate each other. That's what they said. And Caitlin Clark said, it's not really said a lot, except for the fact that she thought that the rivalry between them was manufactured by the media and it didn't really exist. She did say that in the past. So in the interview, they talked about Angel Reese and when she pointed at her ring finger, and she did more than that. She stalked her. I'll read what they said, and then I'll say. In the article, it said that the championship game that was Clark's inauguration into the 24-hour sports news cycle. In the final moments, when it was clear LSU would win, Tigers forward Angel Reese approached Clark and pointed at her ring finger, a bit of trash talking that sparked needlessly cruel backlash. Reese was labeled classless and worse. Clark and Reese were pitted against each other as rivals, a narrative that has carried over to the WNBA. All right, first, I want to attack that, Rob, for a minute, because first of all, there was a lot more to it than what the author described what Angel Reese did. She did more than just point at her ring finger. She did the Now You See Me thing. She did it twice. She stalked Caitlin Clark. It wasn't trash talking. The game was over with. Trash talking exists when the game's still in doubt during the game. She was taunting her and she was stalking her. To say it sparked needlessly cruel backlash, I don't agree with, because the backlash was warranted because it was classless and it was very unsportsmanlike. Now, I don't think any racial comments should have been made against her or death threats or anything like that. But most of the backlash she got, she deserved. And this was not the exact same thing Caitlin Clark had done. I've been over this several times. Caitlin Clark did a quick thing for a second, and that was it during the game when it was still in doubt. This is very much different than what Caitlin Clark did. So I take issue with the description that the author had of what happened between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese.
Yeah, that wasn't true. I mean, and plus the backlash actually has now played into what Angel Reese calls herself. She wants to be the so-called villain, on that. It made her even more popular. Her social media blew up. People were actually supporting her, what she did. That was for the wrong reason, and then she got kind of scared, like, well, she wanted the attention, but then she didn't want that type of attention. But she played it up instead of like, being a mature. I think it was a heat of the moment. Maybe I shouldn't have gone that far and stalked her. And then just to talk about them, Mark, where was the coaches? Where were the adults, so-called adults, when she's doing this antic? Where were they?
Well, the game was still going on. In both instances, one was at the foul line, and then one was she was walking court. But it was down to the last 10 seconds. She could have got on the court and pulled her away. So I agree with that part. So, anyways, Clark said when she talked about their relationship in the WNBA, she said, "I don't get that at all. We're not best friends by any means, but we're very respectful of one another. Yes, we have tremendous battles, but when have I ever guarded her? And when has she guarded me?" Well, that did happen shortly in the first game because Angel Reese hit her with the elbow and wasn't even called a foul. And then she also hit her later when she was driving to the basket, and it was called a flagrant one. She downplays Reese's gesture. I didn't think it was taunting. It didn't really bother me. It's just like, why don't you talk about them winning or the incredible run that we went on that nobody would have thought we would ever gone on? The only thing people cared about was this controversy that was really fabricated and made up. And then that has continued to be the case ever since. So I don't agree with her. And I don't agree, and I don't believe that it didn't bother her, Rob. I just don't believe she.
Of course, it bothered her.
Oh God, my God! I would have pushed. The second time she did that to me, I would have pushed her when she was.
You know what I would have done.
You would have floored a woman, Rob.
being that as a woman, yeah, there would have been some kind of
right.
action.
I don't agree with her, and I don't think she's being honest there. And I think normally she's very honest, but I think she's pretending it didn't bother her because she just wants to. She doesn't want any more backlash to Angel Reese. She's just trying to be a good person here, but she's not being honest.
They're always putting. The problem is, Mark, they're always putting, like we said, peanut butter and jelly. If you mention Caitlin Clark, you mention Angel Reese. But it's like there's never a separation where it'll be Caitlin Clark, but Angel Reese. What? No, there is no comparison. She's looking at the year. She had a better season. Reese didn't win anything. She didn't have as many wins. She's not the type of ball player that she is. She's got to work on her game. Angel Reese does, as Clark does too. But I mean, there's not even any comparison. It came down to the rookie of the year when they were saying it was close. Even then, it wasn't even that close, just because of padded double doubles, which is a wasted stat now. It's a useless stat now. Double double.
Going to her not making the Olympic team, because I was always wondering what her viewpoints on that. She didn't say a lot after it happened. She had a really good game, like her 10th game, and she hit 7 3-pointers en route to a 30-point game and a fever victory. And on the bus, Clark texted her agent that she hoped her performance helped her case to make the Olympic team for Paris. Clark's agent responded immediately, "I have to call you." And I'm like, "Oh, SHIT," says Clark. The news, predictably, was unpleasant. The Olympic roster was about to leak, and Clark wasn't on it. USA basketball officials hopped on a call with Clark. They were like, "Yeah, we haven't selected you. Obviously, we think the world about how you play," and blah, 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 blah. And then the quotes end. So I'm assuming that's what Caitlin Clark said. And then after that, it says she wasn't really listening. She knew she was good enough to be on the team, and she heard rumblings that she would be. There's not quotes around that from Caitlin Clark. But it doesn't surprise me that she thought she was good enough to be on the team. So,
yeah, definitely. Her play showed that.
At the same time, she understood the decision. The 12 players selected, including many future Hall of Famers and Olympic veterans, a point everybody was making was like, who you're taking off the team. And that was a tremendous point, she said. Clark also admits that during her early stretch for the 3-9 fever, I gave them a lot of reasons to keep me off the team with my play. Well, also getting double teamed and triple teamed and being saddled with a lousy coach and some teammates that weren't cooperating with her and refs that were unfair to her, they gave her lots of reasons too, Rob. I'll say that. So she would have played better if they had given her a fair shot. But we all know what happened was that the reason they kept her off the team was because she was going to get too much attention, and that was going to be a distraction to the other players, and also they weren't going to get enough attention. They put one point guard on the team, and she was injured. And she hadn't even played yet, Rob, that year.
Right.
Which is Chelsea Gray. And they could have just kept 14 or 15 players on the roster and see how Chelsea Gray played in the WNBA when she came back, because she came back right after that. And when they realized how injured she was, they could have put Caitlin Clark on the team instead of her. But they had no intention of ever putting her on the team because they didn't want to. They didn't care how bad Chelsea Gray was going to be injured. She was going to be on the team, and she was going to play. And it was silly for them to have one point guard, too. They had like 6 shooting guards on the team.
And it saw as everyone who watched the Olympics, it saw how the play was affected by not having that point guard. And Gray she didn't play that well still in the Olympics. And then they put Deonta Taurasi out there because she was going for her 6th gold medal, which was silly. And she didn't play that much.
And they almost lost because they didn't have a point guard to a mediocre French team.
Right.
Who barely beat a Belgian team in the semifinals, missing one of their best players who had got injured earlier. So, and they had lost a game in pool play too. So France wasn't that good a team, despite the fact that she had some players that had played in the WNBA. So, and they won by 1 point, and the 3-point shot was like a foot away.
Compared to previous women's Olympics basketball teams, that was the sorriest team they ever produced. Most of those teams, they blew everybody out. There was no doubt. There was no doubt with them getting. But this one, there was a doubt in them even winning the game.
We know that Caitlin Clark was better than Donna Taurasi at that point. Donna Taurasi had made an All-Pro team in 4 years. Caitlin Clark's numbers were better, and Donna Taurasi had 2 injuries already that year, and she didn't even play in the finals. Chelsea Gray barely played in the finals, and so we know it's because they didn't have a point guard. We knew it was a mistake, and they still haven't admitted it. So some people argued that she should be on strictly for a marketing opportunity to grow the sport. And that was like Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp on ESPN, which I thought was a mistake when they were arguing with the other people on ESPN, because they should have been arguing that she should have been on it because of her ability, plus for the additional advantage of marketing. And I think that's where they made a mistake. And that's why we didn't do a video on that when they were trying to call them out later on, because they didn't make the right arguments in the first place. But Caitlin Clark responded to that, and she said, I don't want to be there because I'm somebody that can bring attention. I love that for the game of women's basketball. But at the same time, I want to be there because they think I'm good enough. I don't want to be some little person that is dragged around for people to cheer about and only watch because I'm sitting on the bench. That whole narrative kind of upset me, because that is not fair. It's disrespectful to the people that were on the team that had earned it and were really good. And it's also disrespectful to myself. But yet it's kind of weird, because she didn't want to be on there because of marketing purposes, but yet she felt she deserved to be on the team, which she did. And so that's she was just saying, look, don't put me on there just for the marketing. Put me on there because I also deserve to be on the team. And I understand that. Right. And I think that was a bad argument to say she should have been on there just for marketing purposes. If it was for development purposes, because for future Olympics, that's a better argument than marketing purposes.
And they were saying that maybe she wouldn't get much playing time, and so why put her on there? She'd be better off just resting and relaxing, because she wouldn't get much playing time because of the other players on the team, which I doubt they definitely needed her. So I think she got more playing time than people thought. That definitely.
Given how poorly their only point guard played, Chelsea Gray, she would have got plenty of playing time.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of guards, but she would have got playing time. And once they saw how well she played with these people, almost all of whom were scorers, and she was such a great passer, she would have got lots of playing time.
She would have got a lot of playing time.
Yeah. And she would have made a big difference on the team. So anyways, that's the Olympic take. And it's interesting to hear what she had to say. But I'm sure she felt she should have been on there instead of Donna Taurasi or Chelsea Gray, but she's not willing to say it.
She took the high road.
Like, and she was as good as some of the other guards too, but it was close, Right. They at least were healthy.
Yeah, at least she could run the floor up and down the floor.
Right, and they were 42 years old, so at least those guards were healthy.
Right,
and they were all guards that had made like all-star games and all-pro teams. So, anyways. So that's what Caitlin Clark said about the Olympics and her relationship with Angel Reese, which is not as chummy as some people might suspect, but at least she was honest about that. She didn't like Angel. She didn't say she didn't like Angel Reese. She just said we're not friends by any means.
We're not friends.
That pretty much says I don't like her. Yeah, here's the thing. Angel Reese pretends that she doesn't hate Caitlin Clark or isn't jealous or envious of Caitlin Clark, but it's obvious she is. Caitlin Clark doesn't hate Angel Reese, but she certainly doesn't like her. That's what you can conclude. Yeah. And whether she respects her probably as a competitor, because she is a good competitor on the court, but she probably doesn't like her as a person. That's my guess.
Not going to have that friendship wristband like Taylor Swift. I don't think so.
No, but if she liked her as a person, they'd be friends.
Yeah.
I mean, she's friends with Sabrina Askew and Kelsey Plum because she likes them as people.
Which is fine.
Right. Anyways, that's our take. Let us know what you think down below. And if you like this video, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so. Hit the notification when you do, so you get notified of our next video. And we can talk about this on our live show, which is every Monday, 6 to 8 Eastern time, except for major holidays. And you can call in for that show if you want. And if you haven't donated to our channel, there's super chats and super things down below. And there's a link to PayPal. And we'll see you in the next video.
Peace out.